welcome to this ECOSYSTEX Insights Series 17th edition on skills. This is the first time that we are launching this type of webinar related to the skills and education dimension. My name is Pedro Gonçalves and I'm a Senior Policy Officer at EURATEX, the European Textile and Apparel Confederation based in Brussels, Belgium. And I'm part of the team that is supporting Textile ETP in this ECOSYSTEX and more specifically on the Skills and Education Working Group. Very happy to have here Til as well, the master and the brains behind the ECOSYSTEX environment. She'll also support me throughout the webinar for any issues or anything that comes up from your side. And also very happy to be here together with some of the speakers that agreed to participate and speak today regarding their own projects. So this Insights series is a series of webinars where the goal is to promote some of the projects that are within this ECOSYSTEX ecosystem, some of the projects, actions, highlights, deliverables, activities to showcase throughout the public audience. So let's get going. And before that, some housekeeping rules, as they say. So usually once you join, your mic will be muted. So to give to be easier for us to, as a speaker, to discuss. In any case, you'll be able to comment through the chat and might as well to provide any insight from your side through the microphone if you raise the hand, and then we can admit your question. Feel free to use the Q&A option in Teams to share any questions for the speakers that will speak today. And in any case, for those who didn't make it and didn't manage to participate in the webinar today, these recordings will be available in the ECOSYSTEX platform and websites for anyone to have access to. So for those who don't know what ECOSYSTEX is this European community of practice for a sustainable textile ecosystem. The goal here is to bring European funded projects from the textile ecosystem all together in one big community so that we can share some of the actions, the deliverables, the things that we are doing in the projects, to look for synergies, to collaborate, to exchange knowledge between all the experts within that come from these projects. Most of these projects in the beginning of the ECOSYSTEX, when it was launched back in January 2023, it was mostly on the research, innovation on the sustainability and circularity aspect of the textile ecosystem. Now we are pleased to have the skills and the Erasmus Plus projects also included in our ECOSYSTEX. At the moment, we have 77 member projects within this community. Altogether, it brings up to 440 registered experts working in 7 different working groups. And then through this community, we organize these bi-monthly public webinars, which is the case of this one, the 70th webinar. And there's also the opportunity and to come together in person during these annual conferences, which we already had some weeks ago in Gothenburg, Sweden. So the whole idea of this ECOSYSTEX, bringing projects together from the textile ecosystem, and then look for synergies, knowledge exchange, use this possibility to disseminate and share some of the nice outputs that we are bringing to the table through our projects, and this is the perfect tool channel to do so. So you might be wondering, how did we manage to establish this skills in education working group, as this was the ECOSYSTEX was already launched by Textile ITP. But from our side, as EURATEX, we are leading or one of the coordinators of this TCLF Pact for Skills. TCLF stands for Textile, Clothing, Leather and Footwear. And this Pact for Skills was an initiative launched by the European Commission back in 2020 that tries to bring the public and the private entities from these sectors together and set some commitments, some objectives regarding lifelong learning for all, regarding establishing partnerships and networks to work better together, to develop a better or to develop some kind of skills database that we then will be able to anticipate the skills needs of the future, so we are able to face this twin transition, to raise awareness for our sectors and to bring and to promote this an ecosystem that is diverse, that is that complies with this gender balance, that is inclusive. So these are some of the objectives set in the Pact for Skills that were translated to this TCLF Pact for Skills. At the time, there were 100 signatories. Nowadays, we have 200 signatories coming from companies, associations, trade unions, the academia providers. So we've got a big community, which then translates to this TCLF Skills Alliance, which was built or developed back in 2023. This TCLF Skills Alliance is basically all the signatories, all the entities that endorsed this TCLF Pact for Skills. They come together into this group where we, coming from our side, EURATEX, and the other European umbrellas for the other sectors of footwear and leather, we try to promote and reach out to this community to bringing some activities, some ideas that hopefully some of these colleagues can then replicate at their local, regional levels. That's what we did from our side. We are engaged in some projects, including 2 Erasmus Plus Blueprint projects and single market program through the TCLF Skill Bridge. So from our side as EURATEX and being partner or coordinating some of these projects, we try to create possibilities that we can implement some of the actions that we promise in this Pact for Skills document, this initiative. So trying to respond to these commitments by doing action on the ground, and the best way to do so is through projects in some of these cases. And this is where we realize that when we start to engage with other projects, that in the end, many of our own projects, we have so many interesting outputs and results to share, and sometimes even some of the outputs, some of the deliverables and the milestone and everything that we do in the project, sometimes it's very similar to others that are already running. So we start to think, well, it could be a good idea to bring all of this knowledge together into one place, so that we can look for synergies and try to not overlap and to step in each other's toes. So that's why through the EQUALIS, which there's a specific task there to look for synergies with other initiatives, we engaged with Textile ETP, so the creators of this ECOSYSTEX platform, which is a well-renowned and recognized platform that already was bringing together projects coming from the Horizon Europe, from Interreg Europe, and others on circularity and on the green side. So we thought, why not joining ECOSYSTEX, creating a skills and education working group, so that in here we can bring all of these Erasmus Plus projects together, be able to exchange some of the results, some of the actions that we do, to disseminate again some of these results, and also the possibility to interact not only with the other Erasmus Plus projects, but as well with the larger ECOSYSTEX platform. So imagining these Erasmus Plus projects engaging with the other 65 or something already projects that were already in the ECOSYSTEX. So there's for us, we see it as a great opportunity to bring all of this knowledge coming from the research side and innovation, and collaborating together with the universities and the VET providers and the industry, also through the skills scope, through this Erasmus Plus project. So in the end, we managed to do so, and we launched recently this skills education working group that now joins the other 6 that were already in place. So there's a research, innovation, gaps and needs horizontal group. There's also a joint dissemination horizontal group, and this skills education fits right in the middle as this skills education horizontal group, meaning that as a horizontal, anyone from this ECOSYSTEX community can join. So meaning that the projects that join us, they can assign experts from the consortium partnership to the different working groups, and they can join any of these 3 horizontal. And if they feel like it, if they have the expertise, or they're very much interested in some of these more circular and sustainability related topics, such as environmental assessment and PEF, the assessment of recycling and end-of-life options, the eco-design or renewable materials and standards, well, any expert coming from the Erasmus or Horizon Europe can join any of these groups if they have the expertise, or if they are keen to learn new insights coming from the different projects included in the ECOSYSTEX. Well, within this skills and education working group, we had the pleasure to pilot this and to fund this group through 11 skills projects, and hopefully we'll bring many more in the future. So at the moment we have 11: EQUALIS, DigiLab, FAV, IMASUS, MetaSkills4TCLF, SEISC, SIT, VETRIN, ATEX, C for recyclability, and transitions. So these 11 altogether, coming together to this larger community, we are now 77, and together we can make a difference, work with the other experts, with the other projects, look for synergies, maybe even look for potential opportunities and for collaboration during the ongoing projects, and even afterwards, after these projects are finished, you still have the option to remain in this ECOSYSTEX platform and still collaborate with the other colleagues. So this is just this was the ECOSYSTEX in a nutshell, and more specifically what consists of the skills and education working group. And today we'll have, for this Insight series, we'll have the opportunity to hear from 3 projects, including this EQUALIS4TCLF, which I mentioned. It comes from the EURATEX as the coordinator. We'll have the opportunity to hear from the SIT project, from our colleague Sonia Barani from ITKAM, and later as well from the IMASUS project with Arianna Moroder from Lottozero, also showcasing and sharing with us some of the actions and objectives of their Erasmus Plus projects. So I guess you'll hear from me some 10-15 minutes more. I hope you managed to stay put. So let me just share my other presentation in the meantime. So EQUALIS4TCLF. This is one of the projects that we are leading as EURATEX. is a Erasmus Plus Blueprint project, and today we'll cover what is the project itself, some of the main objectives, some of the most recent developments and outputs, and what is coming next in the future. So this project was launched back in February 2024, last year, and it's almost it'll be 2 years in February next year. So we are almost at the midterm. It came from this Alliance for Innovation, the Blueprint for Sectoral Cooperation on Skills grant under Erasmus Plus. There's a total budget of 4.7 million, which 80% of that comes from European contribution. And in total, we are 19 partners coming from 7 different countries, including Czechia, Croatia, Lithuania, Finland, the Netherlands, Slovenia, and Serbia. And who are we? So who are these 19 partners? 3 of them are the European umbrella organizations. So EURATEX representing the textile and clothing, SEC representing the footwear industry at the European level, and COTENS representing the leather. And then there's 7 associations or chambers representing the industry side at national level, coming from the Finnish Textile and Fashion, Modent, Latvia, ATOC, Slovenian Textile Association, Croatian Chamber of Commerce, and the Chamber of the Commerce and Industry of Serbia, and then 6 universities, Tampere, Amphi in the Netherlands, the Technical University of Liberec, Thomas Batas University in Zlin, Czechia, the TTF, the Textile Department in the University of Zagreb, University of Kagroč, I don't know how to spell, it's always difficult to spell the University of Serbia, but they also have a textile department in there, and the Klaipeda vet provider in Lithuania, Celje in Slovenia, and the colleagues from the Craft College in Croatia. So there's different levels of cooperation here from the industry side, from the higher education and the vocational training. Some of the main objectives are translated in the different work packages. We have 10 different work packages, but the goal here is to expand the already in place meta skills blueprint projects, where they target different countries coming from the Western, Central Europe, and the Skills for Smart TCLF blueprint that was coordinated by us back in 2018 up to 2022. So the EQUALIS comes in parallel to meta skills and as a follow-up kind of the Skills for Smart, but amplifying and expanding the geographical scope, because in the end these blueprints have the similar objectives. In the call criteria it's not that flexible, but the way that we differ from the other blueprint projects in our textiles, clothing, leather, and footwear sectors is the geographical scope. So then we have the objectives to develop new curricula for green and digital transformation, to build partnerships and networks between education and an industry. We'll also have to develop some European skills strategy and national skills strategies, and be able to promote equality, inclusion, and safety in workplaces. So all of these objectives correspond to this TCLF Pact for Skills that I was mentioning before. So these are some of the main objectives of this project. And some of the results so far. So last year we conducted a survey directed to the industry, to the companies, and also to the academia providers in these 7 countries. So it was run for some months. In total, we had 222 total responses, even though we only managed to use some of those 164 as there were some issues with the program, or we had responses also coming from other countries other than our own in our scope. There were also, apart from the survey, some focus groups were also conducted, bringing 79 participants in total. So really bringing the knowledge on the ground from the relevant stakeholders relevant to the skills education in these countries, together to discuss what are the current and emerging skills, needs, and gaps, to discuss how's the collaboration between industry and academia, how is it taking place, or is it even taking place in some of these countries or regions? What are the barriers to include the migrants, or to have women represented in a higher level within in a higher hierarchy level within the companies? So these are some of the topics discussed in these surveys and the focus groups. And just a brief overview of the most urgent and emerging skills priorities according to these stakeholders that were interviewed or took part in the survey. They mention these that we need, or we need the digital related skills. For example, the CAD and CAM, the 3D prototyping, digital pattern making, product lifecycle management, then on the sustainability, on the green kind of skills, we have these sustainable operations and compliance skills, meaning the eco-friendly dyeing, waste reduction, sustainable materials, the REACH environmental standards. Then together with the digitalization on the data topic is also very much seen as one of the highlights and one of the skills that are needed, including how to use this data efficiently, how to predict the maintenance procedures, how to use AI, Internet of all things, smart manufacturing. Then on the circular aspect and aligned with some of this legislation that is coming or is going to affect our industry in the coming years on the eco-design, life cycle assessment, traceability, recycling, the repairability. So all of these topics are very much in demand according to the surveys and the interviews, and as well some transversal skills, including the typical problem solving, teamwork, leadership, the capacity to adapt. So these were some of the relevant skills that in these 7 countries that industry and academia felt that they need to promote and develop and have the industry and the academia work together to develop these kind of skills to prepare the workforce for this twin transition and to be more competitive. One of our other goals is to develop regional skills partnerships. So as well, complying or checking this objective of the Pact for Skills of bringing regional players closer together. So regional authorities, industrial associations, companies, universities, schools, training providers. So bringing these most relevant players on the ground at the regional level together under the same roof to discuss, okay, what are our challenges at our regional level? What can we do to improve? How can we work better together? So this is something that we're trying to push through the projects. At the moment, the first phase is to introduce exactly what is this regional skills partnership. And at the moment, there were at least 6 workshops conducted. So try to bring and to establish the first contacts with some of these players at the regional level, coming from the Croatia, Czechia, Finland, Lithuania, the Netherlands, Slovenia, and Serbia, trying to reach out to these main contacts. I mean, first to identify, then to reach out, to contact them, set a date for a meeting, share and show our support, and how can we potentially establish this regional skills partnership, and then start work from there. And hopefully in the future we would have plenty of regional skills partnerships, because from the Commission side and from our side as the European textile, clothing, leather, and footwear umbrellas, our goal is to have this pact for skills, the implementation done on the ground. And for us, that can only happen at regional level, because that's where most of our TCLF industries are spread out through the countries, through Europe, through these regions where they are strong, where they have good industry working, and through there we can work from a bottom-up approach and really make a difference by the end of things. So in other projects we also have this goal of establishing regional skills partnerships. On the EQUALIS side, you can see it on the yellow. This is where we come in to establish these different regional skills partnerships. Hopefully by the end of the project, we'll have 8 in total coming from EQUALIS, while in the other projects and together with EQUALIS, we might have up to 25 or so. So another action or recent outputs that we had to develop was this European TCLF skills strategy. So with this, we aim to establish kind of a roadmap that can be used at the local, regional, national, and even European level. A roadmap that brings some examples, some recommendations, and how to establish a clear objective. How can we promote this upskilling, reskilling? How can we facilitate partnerships and really make skills as a topic in at everyone's agenda, to have skills as the key priority, together with sustainability and digitalization and innovation. So this strategy we developed recently. It was launched at the beginning of this month. Then afterwards, once we share the presentation, we'll be able to click on the documents here on the presentation, and it will take you to where the strategy can be read. This strategy is split into 3 strategic pillars, which we inspired on the guidelines from OECD, so the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. They had established some guidelines on how to develop skill strategies. So we took that into consideration when developing this skill strategy, and there they highlight these pillars, and it consists of developing relevant skills, so to build the right green, digital, and transversal competencies for all the learners and workers. So from the design studios up to the factory floors. So it's all about modernizing the education, updating the training programs, and helping people upskill or reskill to meet these new industrial needs. The second pillar is how to use these skills effectively. So to make sure that those skills are actually used in the workplace to improve the productivity, the quality and innovation. So it means smarter organization, supporting companies to adopt new technologies, creating good quality and future-proof jobs. The third pillar is to strengthen the skills governance, so to create a strong ecosystem of cooperation, so connecting companies, training providers, regions, policymakers, and also this includes better data on skills needs, stronger partnerships, and coordinated investments. And this established the core of this strategy. Then based on this main action points. There'll be some recommendations, some KPIs, some examples coming from the industry that can be replicated at the different levels. So that's what we hope to accomplish. But another development is regarding the curricula. So based on this exercise that we did on the survey and based on the survey and the focus groups, our colleagues coming from the universities and the vocational education training providers, they started to work on developing these micro-credentials based on this EQF, the European Qualifications Framework for Lifelong Learning. So each micro-credential will consist of several modules. Each module then will consist of several courses, and each course then will have, the typical ebook, the short video. They'll also have the opportunity to have some face-to-face learning activities, so these work-based learning activities, and together with this there'll be some assessment tools. So all the requirements to establish a micro-credential is started to be developed now. So all of these, the main core, the DCTS, the syllabus, the pre-requirements, all of this has been drafted, and now the colleagues are starting to develop the actual content of these learning materials, which we hope that in 1.5 years from now we'll be able to start piloting and facilitate the access to this material to the learners at the schools and universities from our partnership and others, hopefully. So it consists of micro-credential, leather and footwear in circular economy, sustainability tools for assessing of textile products, strategic leadership and quality management in the TCLF sector, color management in eco-design, innovate and sustainable clothing production system, how to create new products from old clothes, fashionable accessories, and digital and creative fashion design. Just to be clear, this was some of the micro-credentials or the titles or the content that were inspired based on the survey that we did, but also in the capacity from each of our partners in the consortium. We also are trying to promote this the diversity and the inclusiveness of our sectors by developing workshops. So in total, there will be 28 workshops, four per country, and at least 2 in person with these different topics on diversity, gender balance, social inclusion, well-being, and also on the broader innovation aspects. Hopefully, we'll be able to reach out to these 840 total participants, which was the KPI meant in the proposal. And yeah, the real goal is to raise awareness for these important topics, to share good practices, examples from the speakers and the companies and the people that showcase some of their what they're doing under these topics, and yeah, to build capacity for a better and inclusive workplace. Based on the reports coming from these different workshops, our goal next year is to develop this manifesto of diversity, where we'll showcase some examples on how can the industry benefit to have and for having a diverse environment and industry. So these are just some of the outputs for next steps. As mentioned, we'll then develop some national skill strategies for the 7 countries in our target scope or in our scope. Then to finalize all of these materials from the curricula, and finally to pilot those in all of the partner countries. And then, as mentioned, hopefully by the end of the project, that at least 7 regional skills partnerships are fully recognized by the Commission as a TCLF regional skills partnership under the Pact for Skills. So this will bring recognition and the opportunity for these regional players to to exchange with other regions, and to also be able to potentially receive or be able to go for additional funding opportunities coming from the Commission for the regional skills partnerships. So these are just some of the results so far. Yeah, I hope I didn't take too much time. But feel free to ask any questions. I don't know if there's any, I haven't checked the chats, but if there's any questions regarding the larger ECOSYSTEX or the Skills Education Working Group or the EQUALIS Erasmus Plus Blueprint project, feel free to do it on the chat or the Q&A option on Teams. And in any case, we'll also be available through email afterwards, and you'll be able also to check the presentations. So feel free to share any questions regarding my presentation so far. So I'm checking the chat. So regarding the question from Svedla, yeah, we'll indeed share the presentations. If there's no more questions regarding my presentation, which I'm sure you're all tired of hearing me so far, maybe we'll have our colleagues continue. So next up in our speakers agenda, we have Sonia. Yeah, indeed, Sonia Barani is the next speaker to present what's happening in the SIT project. So please go ahead, take the floor, and thank you for joining us on the first Skills Education webinar under ECOSYSTEX. We can see the slides, but we cannot hear you.
I was muted, sorry. Thank you.
All good now.
Thank you, Pedro, for introducing me. Yeah, I'm Sonia Barani. I work for ITKAM, the Italian Chamber of Commerce for Germany. We are based in Germany, in Frankfurt, Berlin, and Leipzig. I live in Leipzig, although I'm Italian. And together with my colleague, Christina Harms, we are the coordinator of the SIT project, Sustainability in TCLF. And I'm very glad to have received this invitation and that I can share our outputs with you. So this is us in a nutshell. SIT is an Alliance for Innovation project. It was approved last year under Lot 1, and it started similar to the project Pedro was presenting before in February 2024. It will last 3 years and it will end at the beginning of 2027. In the map here, you can see where we are. We are 15 partners coming from 8 countries, and we are a partnership composed of higher education, vet providers, and labor market representatives. So which are our main goals? So let's say we have 3 goals. So first, to analyze the skill gaps and the emerging occupations for the green transformation of the TCLF sector. So I will tell you a bit more about it shortly. Then we would like to train these emerging professions by developing a training pilot. And we would like to create a virtual space for stakeholders in the TCLF sector to connect at local and international level. So compared maybe to other projects, we have a more, let's say, specific focus, because when we developed the proposal that was then approved, we identified 2 emerging professions in the TCLF sector. So one for EQF5, a biotextile technician, and one for EQF6, a recycling manager. The biotextile technician is more, let's say, on the operational side, and the recycling manager is more managerial position. And we researched a bit, and we saw that these professions, I mean, that it didn't really exist a degree or a recognized certification or training for this kind of green jobs. So this was basically the idea behind the SIT project. What we did, so similarly to other projects, so we started with an analysis. So we conducted a field research. We interviewed more than 200 SMEs and around 90 higher education and vet institutions in our partner countries. We asked them, in their opinions, which were the hard skills, soft skills, and green skills that they were researching. So I'm speaking of the SMEs when they hire new people, and also which were the skills that, in their opinion, were very difficult to find. We asked also the higher education and vet institutions, which were the degrees and the learning paths that they were offering, and also if they were offering something similar to biotextile technician and recycling manager. So we found out that that these figures are not really trained, that there are some modules that are offered by some higher education and vet institutions, but not that much. So with the help of our respondents, we identified the competencies that these two figures should have. And we adapted the GreenCom framework for TCLF. So basically what we did, we checked in the GreenCom framework which were the competence areas that were relevant for us, and we adapted the framework for the TCLF sector and specifically for our two professions. The framework is already available on our website, so I took some screenshots of it so that you can see how it looks like. So we defined for every of the two professions which are the knowledge, so the skills and the competencies that they need to acquire, and this exercise helped us a lot to structure the two curricula and the pilot training. So this is where we are now. So our training pilots consist of 3 phases. Every learner can decide whether to take only one of the phases or the full training. So we started with a MOOC. So we have an e-learning platform that is almost finished. And the e-learning will be launched at the beginning of November, at least the English version, and then starting from mid-November, we will have the training also in the other consortium languages. So we have German, Spanish, Italian, Bulgarian, Romanian, Estonian, and Croatian. And we will also release micro-credentials because we have one partner from Slovakia. They are a EU-wide recognized certification body, so they are allowed to release micro-credentials. This is a sneak peek of our e-learning platform. It is almost ready, but not yet open. But here you can see how the course is going to look like. So we have 8 modules per each course, and the participants can decide to take single modules or to take the full course. If they take the full course, at the end they will be redirected to the ICE platform, so our partner coming from Slovakia, and they can take a full quiz to receive the full certification, and we will then apply for micro-credentials. Here you can see how the course is divided. So every course is divided into 8 modules. For example, for the biotextile technician, we have a lot of technical skills that we want to develop. For example, green chemistry for dyeing, or how to. I mean, this figure should be the person who is going to design, produce, and work with bio-based materials. So we try to give this figure a comprehensive understanding on how to deal with with bio-based products. So from dyeing to sustainable supply chain sourcing, which is the current status of the research. For example, we have a module on quality control and testing, and we saw also that digital skills are very important for companies, and they think, at least the SMEs that we interviewed, that the current workers on the textile and fashion market, their digital skills are not up to date. So we tried also to create a module to provide our participants with an idea which digital tools they can use, and about the soft skills communication, because since sustainability is not can't be taken for granted in every company. So we thought that it is important for people that are trained in sustainability also to bring their colleagues on board. So this came out also from our survey, that it is very important to be able to communicate sustainability choices in a very effective way. For the recycling manager, so this figure is more, as I was saying, on a managerial side. So, for example, the recycling manager is also the person who is supposed then to take decisions also on a cost effectiveness base. Here you can see the content of the course, and beside the green competencies that we wanted to convey, we have also a module, for example, on leadership and team management and critical thinking and problem solving. So what happens next? So when participants have finalized the e-learning, they can join also the next phase, which is country-based. It will be a blended training. We have different steps, let's say. We have first a face-to-face and project-based learning. So we are now in the process where we are defining what is happening in every country. So there might be, for example, workshops or depending mentorship. I can tell you, for example, what we are organizing for Germany. So in Germany, we are organizing several workshops with startups in the textile and fashion sector, where the participants will be invited to join either online or on-site. Then we are going to tutor our participants that will be asked to develop business ideas, so a concept note. And the best ideas that will be selected will grant them a ticket, let's say, to participate to a bootcamp that we are organizing next May in Thessaloniki in Greece. So there we will bring from every country at least 3 students, but we are going to have probably more. So the idea there is to help them develop business ideas for green TCLF. And they are also going to enjoy site visits. So it is going to be a real mobility. And after, we are going to have work-based learning, so either in the form of internships in some countries, or, for example, in Germany, we are organizing a 1-week study visit where we are going to cover all expenses from our participants. As I was saying, our participants can decide to take only the e-learning or to be with us for the full training. Who are going to be the participants? VET students, higher education students, but also professionals if they have time and if they wish to join. And yes, we are launching the first phase in November. So if you are interested, or if you know higher education or VET students or professionals that might be interested in joining our e-learning, we are very happy to have them on board. The last phase of our project would be the establishment of an ecosystem. So we have already more than 100 memorandum of understanding signed. What we are doing, we have e-learning and community platform on our website. It is still, it is already open, but you will see if you check it that there are some sections that are currently still under development. So it will be ready shortly. We are creating international and local hubs to give our stakeholders as space where they can share resources on sustainable TCLF and where they can receive also services. For example, we are going to provide them with webinars or mentorship opportunities, matchmaking opportunities. So this is something that will happen both at local level, so in the local languages, but also at international level. So I have some captures of the platform, how it looks like now. So you can see in the e-learning part, you will find the two training courses. And then we have community, networking, matchmaking section where there are already some people in. We will be very happy if you join us. It looks a bit like a social network, I have to say. So you are able to send messages and also to start discussions in the feed. We want it to be a very informal space where people can connect and share ideas. You can publish your events on the platform. And the section database is still under development, but our idea would be to have there a space to share resources. For example, also I imagine that many of you are coordinating or are partnering projects. So if you want to share, for example, your outputs here, so we will be very happy to have you on board. As I was saying, the platform is still is almost finished, but is still under development. But we will be happy to have you there. And if you follow our social media, we will let you know also when the e-learning is ready, when the platform is ready. And we can, we can have you in the loop. So here you can see how the hubs work. It looks a bit like Facebook. Maybe we are a bit old-fashioned. Here is the QR code that directs you to the platform and also the URL. And this is us, so the team at ITKAM, Italian Chamber of Commerce for Germany. We are the coordinator. We are happy to connect with you also via LinkedIn. So let's stay in touch. If you have questions later, I am happy to answer.
Thank you very much, Sonia, for the clear and on-time presentation of the seed project. So many good things coming out from the project itself, and very complementary also with the work, for example, that we were presenting EQUALIS, and I'm sure with many other projects. So it will be interesting to see how can we use these the platforms, the curricula that we all develop under these projects. How can we use it later on after our projects are finished? So this is a good opportunity to involve all of this ECOSYSTEX community under the skills education to start thinking in these things. So definitely very insightful and very relevant to our work, and even coming from our side as the TCLF Pack for Skills coordinators. There's so many good things that we can do from the results of these projects. So indeed, for the participants, you still have time to think of some questions if you have for Sonia regarding the SEED project. After our next speaker, we'll have a Q&A session for anyone that would like to make questions to either the SEED project and the IMASUS project that will now be presented by Arianna Moroder. So thank you, Sonia. Stay tuned in case there's some questions after the next presentation. Arianna, the floor is yours. Whenever you want, you can share your screen. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Pedro, for the introduction. Thank you, Sonia, for the presentation. I'm happy to be here today, sharing our project with you. I will share my window. All right. So today I'm speaking to you about the IMASUS project. Maybe just briefly, my name is Arianna Moroder. I am the co-founder of Lottozero, a creative hub for textiles based in Prato, Italy, in the heart of the manufacturing center of Prato, which is famously known as being the biggest textile manufacturing hub in Europe. So Lottozero is part of the European Creative Hubs Network, and also European Creative Hubs Network is actually one of the partners of this project. So our project IMASUS, as the title says, it's about Imagineering Sustainability. So we're more reaching out to the creative and design community with this claim. We are imagining, we are planning, we are designing for like future projects, and we're trying to stimulate with these contents the creative community and the community of research and makers who work around textiles and fashion. So it's very important for us to have this role of bridge between what is developed, what is researched, and what is found in the communities like university or research centers such as ours, or other institutions which do research around textile and material development, and connect this information to the creative community. So mainly to the fashion designers, but also it can also be product designers or textile designers or other creatives in general. These are our project partners. So as I mentioned before, we are Lottozero. We are a creative hub all around textiles. So we have a specific expertise around textile, which is, let's say, in between the world of industrial manufacturing and then the world of creative work, design, arts, and this kind of development. The other partners are, as I said before, ECHN, the European Creative Hubs Network. So they are a very large organization, which is now, I think, around 10 years old, and they're a collector of at least 300 creative hubs throughout Europe, which are working with all kinds of different topics, subjects, and communities, both in the cities, but also the countryside. There's also several rural hubs, and there is a good amount of hubs like ours, which concentrate on the topics of fashion and textile design. So there's already a very strong existing network that we can connect to and that we have connected to in the arch of the project. Our other partners are based in Spain. So we have Moncun. They are a studio in Zaragoza working on creative strategies and learning. They have a very innovative approach to sharing information and also to connecting the information to the people who might be interested in it. It's been so far very very eye-opening working with them, because they have a specialization on web design, interactive design, and also are preparing a set of interviews and presentations that we are going to use on our websites and that we were going to use for dissemination. And it's a very nice approach also to the visual communication of the project. And last but surely not least, we have INMA. They are a research institute in Zaragoza. They work with nanotechnologies, and usually, let's say that textiles and textiles fibers are not so much their field. So it's kind of interesting to have this very technical partner, very specialized. They are usually more in the world of medical field, so they develop nanotechnologies for the medical field. And in this case, it's been beautiful to see how they can take another approach and how they can bring their expertise to the world of fibers and the analysis of special textile fibers. So a little bit more about what the project wants to achieve. We like to say that we're a practice-based framework because it is very important to us to bring some tools and to bring some very concrete informations to the potential users of this platform. What we want to create is a platform that has almost a bit of a neutral aspects when talking about innovative textile materials for the fashion industry, because we found that the problem with anything that is being promoted as a sustainable and innovative material for fashion nowadays is all the information, they're actually coming from the manufacturing companies, or in case of smaller projects and research projects, they are coming, if they are disclosed, they're coming from the groups and researchers themselves. So what we are missing is a platform that offers up informations that are like more neutral, more objective, and been analyzed by let's say by an entity that is not biased and not involved in any commercial way with the fiber. So this is one important part of the work we want to do. We want to create access to information around sustainable fashion materials that is not actually coming from the companies or the people who are creating these materials and who are bringing this material out. So with this, we really want to also educate on what can be considered as a sustainable fashion material and bring different perspectives and different point of views to our public. Finally, and what I mentioned before, the big role of connecting these research entities and different academic institutions with the actual users, or with the people who are concretely interested in sourcing the material and applying them in their practice. So we do so by creating a material database, which will be available online on our website openly. And the material database collects a variety of examples of materials that we have evaluated and that we have considered interesting for the use in fashion and textile design. We have decided to be very open about the materials that we showcase and feature. We are featuring materials that are in different stages of development. So some of the featured materials are already commercialized and can be bought and sourced. Others are still at the stage of being researched and developed and are basically still in the making or still in the research phase. And this we are showing also as a way to present a work in progress and to better explain this very complicated landscape around materials that are being developed now, new materials and sustainable fashion materials. One tool we have that is extremely unique and special is the possibility of presenting microscans. So this is where our Spanish partners come in strong. They have the possibility to scan all our sourced and researched materials with their absolutely unique technology. So we are looking at the microscans, at these micro images, and we have the possibility to close up onto the fibers and actually understand their physical structure, which is surely something that is unique, that is not available so far online. So that really helps for who has to research, who has to gather information to get a better picture and a better understanding of the material. And it's something that usually the entities bringing out the materials will never make available to the public. So this is an amazing thing that we can offer. We have identified a few directions that we're working on. So one, in terms of textile and material innovation, one of them is researching the past. So oftentimes we're looking at maybe some natural fibers that have been, let's say, forgotten or discarded, and that are becoming, again, interesting for the textile industry. So we have some fibers that we sourced and that belong to practices that are connected more to crafts or connected more to indigenous practices. And we're bringing these, we're showing these, we're presenting these as options, as ideas, and as materials that can be brought back to actual application in fashion design and in the industry. This, for example, is textiles made from paper fibers. So this is a Swedish company that produces these materials. So here we are in the realm of natural materials, biodegradable materials, and organic materials. And we're trying to present alternatives to the more mainstream or the more commonplace fibers, which are available in mass, and we have gotten to know and through industrialization. So surely these are all more niche choices coming from some small manufacturers or even from artisanal production, so available in different quantities depending on the type of material. Another material is circular wool, the wool from meat and milk sheep. So also a resource that we have here in Europe, but has become unattractive for the markets. And we're trying to reintegrate into the textile industry by presenting it as a fiber that can actually hold a value and definitely can have a variety of qualities because it is wool that are technical and physical and can be very interesting for the application in a garment. Some more materials that come from nature, and we are researching or we are considering for material library are jute and hemp. Also, these are materials that we have maybe heard about, but lost their supply chain throughout industrialization. So we're looking at where can these materials be sourced? Is there possibilities of sourcing them? And if yes, how can they be interesting for our target? How can they be interesting for designers and brands to reintegrate in their production of garments? Another direction that we are looking into for sustainable textiles for fashion is the new artificial. So there is a lot of research which is being done at the, let's say, at the crossroads between artificial and synthetic fibers, and also huge efforts to move away from purely petrol-based synthetic fibers, but trying to develop more bio-based fibers that have a different decomposability, so react different in the environment at the end of their life cycle. And here we are looking at some examples that maybe have been around also for a long time, but have been forgotten or have fallen under the radar. So milk fibers, so protein-based artificial fibers, for example. We have a few manufacturers who are still producing these yarns, and we're trying to highlight them and to make them known in the community of designers and people working with fashion and textiles. Same for the orange fiber. This is slightly more famous, but kind of follows the same principles. So it is an artificial fiber based on waste of the food industry. Then we have synthetic fibers that go through a recycling process. So in our database, we have ECONYL, the recycled polyamide fiber, which is easily available, readily available on the market. So this is a type of material that has very good access and is priced and can be ordered already. So it kind of belongs to the groups of more readily available materials. But then we also have aspects that are still in the research phase, so things that are still being tested and tried on a smaller scale, which are also interesting to know and to have awareness of for further development. This is one of the materials we included as well. And here on the right, you see already the micro scan of it. This is a leather alternative based on mycelium. It's called muskin, and it's developed here in Italy. Also, this is already available in limited amounts, but it can be pre-ordered, and it already has like a pricing in place. So it's not as industrialized, for example, as the recycled nylon, but it is already at a good point in terms of how it can be used by designers and how it can be applied into a project. Another interesting fiber we're looking at is fiber. Again, we are in the world of new artificials. So how can we research the processes of nature and the creation of certain molecules, in this case, the secretion of spiders, and how can we recreate this process artificially in a lab? So fiber is really one of the most cutting edge materials, and yeah, we're excited to see if we can include this also in our database. The other big part of our work are the learning modules, where we identified several approaches that ideally are combined with the choice of materials. So we really want to equip not only with this information on actual materials to use, but also give some directions on how the materials are used, and what are some of the, let's say, most qualitative approaches or most qualitative practices around sustainability in fashion. So we have a module on zero waste design, for example, with a variety of case studies. And then we have a module on modular fashion, recyclability, and modular fashion, recyclability. Oh, sorry, I went out of the. Yeah, well, I'll have to update you with the fourth one. Right now, it's slipping my mind. Anyway, the idea is that through these learning modules, which we will then teach in several workshop moments, we equip the designers with this perfect combination of material and approach with the material. So it's not just giving them the information on the material and leaving them alone to their own devices, but actually giving also guidelines on what the best practices are now in contemporary sustainable fashion design. So we have partners from the industry, of course. As I said, some of these materials and some of these approaches are already widely applied, but we also have this important group of stakeholders, which are the labs and the researchers. So we are definitely part of this community, and we have the possibility to access this group of stakeholders also through the European Creative Network. We work a lot with students and educators. So again, it's about bringing this information to the people who actually need it. So creating these bridges and connections. As said, we will be holding, as part of the project, several more-day workshops, starting from Prato in our lab at Lottozero at the beginning of the new year, but then we will also be holding a workshop in Spain as well. In this case, we will be piloting and testing the learning modules in combination with the materials. So we will make the materials available during the workshops, not all of them, just of course some of them, so that we can immediately see and prototype them and see if this system works well, and if the students and stakeholders are connect to it, if it's actually a useful system. And yeah, finally, we will bring these tools to our creative community. They are the ones that are most in need of these informations, and can then circle back to us with a feedback, or like in a long term apply these tools and give us a realistic reaction to what we have created in the long term. So we are very lucky because we do already have a quite established network between all of the partners, and we already had the possibility to share a lot of the research we are doing in various events. We are in the middle of the project, so we're really still full on in the phase of collecting and gathering information. However, we have our website online. I will share that with you as well. Oh yeah, sorry, we have it here, the website. So you can already find us online with the IMASUS project. We are posting on our blog. So while we wait for the database to be completed, there's already a very useful blog where we have reported on several topics around sustainable materials and sustainable fashion. It's still in the making, of course. For example, now I am at Dutch Design Week, so we will probably report also from here on sustainable textile materials and the projects that we see presented here. Yeah, I would like to also share the website, the actual website with you. Let me just, all right, let me catch the link so I can post it in here into the chat. You can sign up into the newsletter to get the updates as the website will start to become populated more in the beginning of the new year. Also, I will share with you the subscription link for the newsletter. Voila. And of course, for any informations or any additional details, you are welcome to get in touch. You can write to us directly or through the website. And I would be very happy to discuss. Also, if you have some feedbacks or suggestions, that would be wonderful to hear, since this is such a expert community and there's so much expertise and knowledge here available.
Thank you very much, Arianna, for your presentation on the IMASUS project, an overview of what you've been building so far, the very interesting tool that you're collecting this information to build this database on sustainable materials, and then how can we use this knowledge and showcase it and share with the industry side, with academia and also the public general audience. So it's very interesting how all of this partnership comes together to use this knowledge that you're collecting. Now that we maybe on the Q&A phase, I saw that some question regarding maybe the database, if I could say so. So this database, I guess there's some kind of criteria you build based on your own knowledge, but is it open to include other materials in this database? Because, for example, Thomas Laurent in the chat mentioned, what about flax and sequel? So are the other materials that are existent out there, can these materials be included in this database that you are building, or is something that you plan maybe on the longer term after the project is finished?
That's actually a very good question. And I mean, we are still in the process of including materials, but I think it's a very good point to ask, like, how will it grow, how it will move on? And as we go on, how we can possibly include new materials in it. But I would say if Thomas wants to share with me or has some suggestion, I would be super happy to hear from him. Yeah.
Perfect. I think Thomas wants raised his hand. I don't know if
right.
you can
if
speak.
we have samples, if there are samples existing, we can also analyze them. So that's what Guy was saying.
Yeah, this is the perfect. The ECOSYSTEX coming together to help and support each other. And as Guillermo was saying, the project partner with Arianna, they are open to receive ideas, suggestions. Feel free to contact or the other side, or vice versa, contact Thomas Laurent. So thank you very much for your response. Maybe a quick question for Sonia, if she's still around on the seat, because I don't know if she's around. Yeah, because I mentioned you mentioned that these first activities on the ground with the learners will start now in February up to May. Then there will be this gathering in Greece. Is there any plan? Because afterwards, then there'll be an opportunity for some of these learners to maybe be part of some apprenticeship program. Is there any plan on? Because if this is starting next year and the project finishes in 2 years from now or so, I believe, is there a plan to support or to get feedback from these learners after they go through these learning activities in your project, to have an assessment from are these 2 modules that I learned throughout during the seed project, were they relevant to my position nowadays? Did I manage to find a job, or is this something that my company felt or found it useful for my? Is there any plan in this sense, like some feedback, quality assurance of the materials?
So okay, now I'm not muted anymore. So first of all, so the e-learning is starting already in November. So the first phase will not start in February. So only the country level activities are starting then later on. But yes, so the idea is the work-based learning will be in some countries will be in the form of apprenticeship, but it depends a little bit how the industry is, because, for example, I know that in Southern Europe is a bit more complicated maybe for learners to find an internships, while in Northern Europe, like in Germany, we have to offer something different. So we will offer them, for example, to collaborate on research projects, or to connect them with companies and other stakeholders of the industry. What we are doing, we are going to have a committee, so for every country, to evaluate indeed the effectiveness of the training pilot. So at the end of the pilot, they are going to be assessed and they are going to receive a certification if they, a comprehensive certification with all the steps. And I forgot to mention it, but they are going to receive also ECTS for these activities. So if they go through the whole training, they are going to receive 9 credits for the whole activity. And another thing that I forgot to mention in my presentation is that our platform is going to be also a matchmaking platform. So companies are welcome to post them job offers, internship offers, also cooperation offers. So this is something that we wanted definitely to support with our project. So the idea is that the learners that are joining our project, so it's not only for the training, but we would like them to be more integrated in the industry at the international level, because they are going to get in touch also with companies outside their country. Companies or vet provider, higher education, all kind of stakeholders that will be on our platform. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's quite important, especially if you mentioned that they'll be recognized with, they'll have this ECTS within, if they go through this micro-credential, these learning possibilities, and be able to be recognized for so. It's important that then there's a way to assess how they did and the prospects of the future, if this is relevant or not, because we all know that skills and innovation research, that it's evolving so fast that it's difficult to remain in the same scope, in the same vision. So we need to always update the curricula, always update the materials, always look for to upskill and reskill ourselves. So to have these assessments throughout the project, and maybe even after the project is finished, is very relevant and something that
and I can add something. So good practice that we have actually from another project that is part of ECOSYSTEX. It's FIVI, you mentioned it before. We had also work-based experiences there. It is a COVES, so Center of Vocational Excellence. And at the end of this work-based phase, 2 of the participants from Germany, they were hired from the company they collaborate with. So we saw that this is something that happens quite often. So it is also interesting for learners to know that if they join this kind of projects, there might be something more coming from their participation if they engage.
Definitely, I think that's where this ecosystem platform could also be useful to showcase some of these highlights from our projects, and then from our side as EURATEX and working in this TCLF Skills Alliance, to showcase some of these initiatives through our signatories, through these institutions, companies, associations, and regional authorities in this community. We can really make a change if people get to see one good example and be able to replicate it somehow, or try to apply it in their environment. I think it's beneficial for all. So yeah. Thank you very much. I think we are a bit over the time. Thank you very much, Sonia and Arianna, for being here. Again, people, the participants or the colleagues that attending the meeting today will have access to the presentations as well as your contacts if they have any other questions after this webinar. I will just go quickly through some of the member activities. So some of these projects included in the ECOSYSTEX initiative. You can showcase some of the activities, events that you're promoting within your projects. And here are some clear examples. So still this month, there's a Substract event, final results, and a roundtable with policymakers. There's the Plastis. I believe some colleagues from Plastis already shared on the chat the event. So it will happen in Turkey, and it will be hybrid, so the colleagues can join. The next Insight Series, the 18th version, will happen on the 14th of November. So feel free to register for that as well. Arianna was speaking of Prato, and in Prato there'll be some event as well that brings 2 projects from ECOSYSTEX together, happening on the 19th of November. a workshop from the Just Fashion project happening on the 26th of November in Brussels. And again, a call to action to all the ECOSYSTEX members, participants, to be on the lookout for anything coming out through the websites and the newsletters, and a reminder to share any time that you have a nice output, a nice results, you can showcase it in the repository from ECOSYSTEX. You can also reach out to us so that we can further share it through our mailing list, the newsletter, the social media, which have a good turnout. So yeah, just a reminder again, the different communication activities to showcase some of our projects. And I would like to thank everyone for participating, for the speakers, for their time and availability to be here today, this morning, and all the participants joining from their homes and their works, wherever they are today, for the first skills special event under this ECOSYSTEX Insights Series. From our side, we'll continue working with the skills projects and the other projects involved in ECOSYSTEX, try to reach out to other potential projects out there that are still unknown to us, to really bring a good centralized center of knowledge that we can use for our benefit, to be better, to have concrete results from our projects. So yeah, thank you, and wishing you a nice of your day, and speak soon.
Thank you, Pedro. Thank you to all the participants, and thank you, Sonia. It was very interesting.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.